Hello, darlings. Welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name's Freedom. Thank you for joining me. Today, I want to briefly touch on a narc dark art of rewriting history. Anyone who has been involved with a narcissist or a sociopath or a psychopath for any period of time will probably be aware of the fact that they love to play the role of victim, even though they are the abuser, even though they are the one who can literally be physically hurting someone or psychologically, emotionally abusive, financially, sexually. They could be an abuser on every level, and still they think that they are the victim. It's quite astounding to witness, and it really shows just how unstable and unwell these people are, and how their reality, like their grip on reality, is really tenuous at the least. And to be honest, when you're with them, this is why gaslighting works so well, because no one would ever imagine that someone would try and tell you that day is night. But a narcissist or a sociopath will tell you day is night. And not only will they tell you that day is night, they will tell you that you are crazy because it's so obvious that day is night and everyone else knows that day is night. What is wrong with you that you don't know that day is night? So, I mean, this is the kind of mentality that we're dealing with. Someone who is so out of touch with reality, who rewrites history to make themselves seem to be the victim, and then will actually attack you for not believing the lie and not going along with the lie. And then try and say that that you're the one that's being cruel or unfair or whatever it is, because you're not going along with their lie. I mean, it really is like something out of X-Files. Like, really. I mean, I can understand, at times I can actually understand why people think that that they may be possessed with a demon, or that they are from another, that they're a reptilian brain. They're not human, basically. So that's there's two theories or two trains of thought around sociopaths and narcissists and psychopaths, and that is that, as I said, that they're actually affected by what's called the Jezebel spirit. And the other one is that they are subhuman creatures, so not quite human. Either way, it's quite concerning. Anyhow, look, so just recently, literally just this morning, I had the displeasure of waking up to a whole lot of bullshit text messages from my ex, who is taking advantage of the fact that we have a child together, and therefore he has my phone number. He's not supposed to contact me for any reason other than to do with our child. So unfortunately, that means I will have to go and report it to the police because there's a breach of an AVO. So that is what I'm going to do. But anyhow, so I had the displeasure of waking up to a whole lot of abusive text messages. Literally, I think it was about 8 or 9 of them. And he got online as well. He got onto Facebook and left some comments and things like that. So now he's been blocked there as well. But it's fascinating that because it gives me an insight into his mind. And what I see is that he's trying to rewrite history, but it's kind of interesting because, they have to be careful when they're rewriting history, because they've got so many lies that they have to remember, so he has to try and think, well, what's he told the news supply about the version of events and the story and how it all played out? What's he told her? So there's that version of events, and then there's the one that is spinning to me, and then there's the one that we both lived through, like the actual reality that we were both in. I do actually remember that because I was there. But anyhow, he has to rewrite the history, our story, and make himself look like the victim. And look, to be honest, if you read it, if you hadn't met either of us, or you didn't know either of us, or you didn't know the story, or you had no clue about, narcissists or sociopaths, and you read something like that, you would probably think, oh my God, that poor bloke and that woman, what a bitch, as if she did that. And it's quite fascinating, because that's what they rely on. They rely on unsuspecting, innocent bystanders. They rely on them believing the lies because they feed off of sympathy. So they get supply from sympathy. They actually love it when people are going, oh, poor you, you are, and you're such a good bloke. How could anything, so bad happen to such a good bloke? But look, good on you. You're a survivor and you're still battling. Good on you. Don't give up, little man. Don't you ever give up. Honestly, it makes you laugh, doesn't it? Knowing full well, like he knows he's an abusive, manipulative liar. He knows. But no, he wants to pretend that he's not, and that he's just so hard done by, and that, that I'm just so mean. It's like, isn't it amazing that I and his ex-wife before me, that we're just both such cruel women. Oh, poor him, and how, how he just had no clue, not a clue at all. Anyhow, so when they're rewriting history, it's important that you do not let them. Do not let them. Because you were there. And if you have any doubt in your mind, speak to someone else who was there and who knows your side and knows your version of events. Because what they like to do is they like to gang up and have, flying monkeys, agreeing with them and fighting for their cause, flying monkeys on their side, battling the evil ex, the evil witch of an ex. When in actual fact, these poor individuals are actually helping, an abuser. They're actually helping him continue to abuse an innocent victim, someone who's actually managed to get the hell away from him. I mean, in my particular, case, it took me years to get away. It's not easy to get away from these blokes, and anyone who says that it's easy has not been involved with one. They don't just go, oh, okay, no worries, you can go. Yep, that's fine. You go. No, it's fine. There's none of that. You are told when you're in the relationship, you're told, repeatedly what will happen to you if you think about leaving, and when that's in your head, that's half of the the bars of the cage are in your own mind. And that I know to be true because once I actually managed to get away, he's not as powerful as I thought he was. That's just the facade. That's just the, the construct that he built to lure me in the first place, playing the big, strong man, I'll always protect you and I'll always keep you safe and nothing bad will ever happen to you when you're with me. That was the construct that he used to, first of all, draw me in. Second of all, he used it to terrorize me, this big, strong man, that then threatened to shoot me or, kill me if I ever left, that kind of thing. But the reality is, I did leave. Look who left. And I'm not dead. I'm not dead yet. So they're not as powerful as they would like you to believe. And once you stop believing in the construct and the facade that they have built. You know, once you start to really realize that their reality, you know, it's so loose. Like, their grip on reality is so loose. Here's another thing that they do. They take on, so when they're building their constructs, so they take on all these different personality types, certain characteristics. They might have, you know, found some character on television that they liked, or a movie character they liked, you know. So they've taken on, you know, all of that. But they also lie about their childhoods, you know. So if you, for example, were, you know, sexually abused as a child, then they will come out and tell you that they've never told anyone this, but, you know, that dad used to abuse me, and, you know, but I've never told anyone, but, you know, I have to tell you because I trust you so much. You know, they lie about really, really big things. But on some level, it's like they believe it. It's like, I thought it, I imagined it, so therefore, on some level, it's true. But, you know, I don't think that's what makes it true. I think it's not true. I think it's a lie. And once again, we go back to liars lie. Okay, so you can't ask a liar to explain anything. Not reality, not the state of play, not history, not what went down, nothing, because they will never give you the truth. They will always distort things to suit themselves, and they will always make themselves out to be the victim. So with that in mind, you know, this is key. This is key to escaping and going no contact and getting away from them for good. Because once you don't believe in them anymore, once you realize that it was just a character and it was just a facade, it's so easy to walk away from that. I mean, look, my ex's head is literally spinning right now because he cannot comprehend how someone who is as loyal as I am, like, I'm ride to die. I'm one of those kind of girls, right? But, you know, the fact is, this man lied, cheated, manipulated, abused, took advantage of me. He did so much for so long, and now that I've realized it was all bullshit, I'm not right to die. I'm not going to be loyal to a man who's totally disloyal to me. You know what? He expects that I'm going to still be loyal to him and still treat him the way I used to treat him. No, he's an abuser. Why would I treat him like he's a decent human being? You know? And that's one of the biggest mistakes that as empaths and caring people that we do often make. We do often, you know, think, oh, well, you know, I like to treat everyone fairly and equally, and, you know, and everyone's good inside. But the reality is that everyone isn't actually good inside. And people like sociopaths and psychopaths take advantage of people like you and like me for even thinking those kind of thoughts. Okay, that leaves you wide open and vulnerable to abuse from a sociopath when you start thinking, oh, everyone is really good underneath it all. You start believing their lies, believing their bullshit, and before you know it, you've spent years trying to fix someone who didn't need to be fixed. You know, you literally will try and save a relationship that's not salvageable because it's not real, it never was real, and they don't want you to fix the relationship. They just want the supply that you give. You know, they want the fuel that you give. They love the arguments, they love the tears, they love the breaking up and the making up, they love the power, you know, they love it. I remember the first time I kind of saw it with my ex. We'd had this fight and it was a big one, and I honestly felt like I could not take it any longer. And at the time I didn't have a car and had to rely on him for transport. But something in me just shifted that day, or was it in the evening actually? And I just started to walk towards the train station. I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here, I'm going. And in my mind, it was like I knew as soon as I got on that train that, I was going to figure it out from there. Like I had no money, nowhere to go, no nothing, but I knew I'd figure it out. Now, of course, he gave a little bit of time between when I left and then when he arrived, but he came running down, like sprinting down to the train station, tears, like literally running down his face. Baby, don't leave me. Please don't ever leave me. I'll die without you. Don't leave me. Right? But at the time, it was like, it actually was so theatrical. I thought, something's wrong here. What is this about? Like, I just knew on some level that something was wrong. And now I know, like in hindsight, now I know it wasn't real. He was just acting out a role, he probably saw that in a movie. Like, quite literally, he probably saw that in a movie and went, wow, that's really powerful, And, in the movie, probably the girl, I don't know, went and straight back to her ever-loving man, so grateful and so in love, whatever it was, that's what he wanted me to do. And I think I probably did do it, if I'm honest. I think that even though I knew on some level that it felt strange and he was acting weird, I think that, in the early stages of the relationship, it's so easy to be manipulated by them because, they've love bombed you so well. They've figured you out so well. They know exactly, what to say, how to say it, when to say it. So when you have these little red flag moments, you have, it's like, well, what are you going to do? I mean, you've got no money. You've got nowhere to go. You're about to be homeless, broke. He's got all the money. And in our situation, there was drugs involved. So he had all the drug contacts and, so I'd probably be sick within a few hours, but at least by the next day, had no car, had no nothing. So what was I really going to do? My options weren't that great. And so even though it was strange, and even though I just thought I couldn't take any more, that little display of love and devotion was enough just to keep me there for another 10 years or something ridiculous. Oh, all right, my darlings. That's all I wanted to say is, narcissists and sociopaths, psychopaths, and reality, they don't have a very good grasp of reality. Do not let them, don't let them mess with your head, okay? It's New Year's, so I'm going to finish getting ready and go out. So Happy New Year to you all. 2019 might be a narc-free year for us all. That'll be good. All right. Thank you, lovelies. Bye.